In this video, I'm going to go briefly over the process for using PHP on your computer running under MEMP to set up a very simple database for contacts management or a phone book. To get to PHP from your computer from the MEMP console, the easiest way is to hit the Web Start button and then scroll down under where it says MySQL. If you expand to that part of the menu, you can see here that PHP is linked. Now, if you can't find that, you should also be able to get to PHP by typing the root address for your web server, which is usually localhost : and then if you left it at the default 8888, sometimes that port number is different, but you can make that adjustment, and then /PHP That should take you to a screen that looks like this. On your screen, there may be fewer databases over here. There may even be none showing up, but that's fine. Don't worry about that. What we're going to do is create a new database. So we're going to click the button that says New, and then under database name here, we will type phone book, and we'll just leave this menu the way it is and hit create. And you can see here that your phone book database has now been added, and we are at the create table screen. We'll set it to 6 columns to start with. We can always add columns later to the database if we need to. And we will call this table contacts. This will be the main table for our application that we're going to build. When I click go, I will get something that looks like this. Each one of these rows represents one of the fields or columns in the database. So I'm going to now give those the names that I need them to have and provide a little bit of definition. The first one that I always like to create when I create a new table is an ID field. This is to make sure that each row has a unique ID and that I can address that row from my code without having duplicates or worrying about which one I'm addressing. So I'm going to leave it an int. You can see all the data types here. An int is just a number with no decimal. And then I'm also going to click this box where it says AI. Now that doesn't stand for artificial intelligence, that stands for auto increment. And you can see here that it gives it a primary designation here. That just means that this is the main field that we're going to use to tell one row from the other. And auto increment means that it's automatically going to add 1 to the number each time I add a new record. So when I add a record, I won't actually add this field explicitly. It will add itself, choosing the next number in the sequence so that each number is unique for each record. Now I'm just going to go through and add some simpler fields. First one is going to be first name. Notice I use an underscore instead of a space. You don't want to have spaces in your field names ever. I like to keep them all lowercase, but that's more of a preference. This one's going to be a varchar, or a variable character. What a variable character field does is it contains a string of text. Usually it's relatively short, and I'm going to give it a length of 35. By giving it a length of 35, what I'm saying is this is the maximum length of anything that should be put in this field. The nice thing about this variable character field is that it will take up only the amount of memory in the database that's required to contain whatever anybody enters. So if they enter something like a bill, which is only 4 characters long, then that actual space that it takes up will only be 4 characters. If I change this to a regular static text field and I put 35 as the length, it will take up 35 characters no matter what. So it wastes space. So to have an efficient database, I use variable character fields whenever I can. So let's do last name, and we'll go variable character, and I'll go 50 because sometimes last names are a little bit longer. Now we'll go email, variable character, Let's go ahead and do 75. Some folks have long email addresses. Let's do phone number. And although phone numbers are made up of numbers, it's not actually a number that you can do calculations on. So we are going to use variable character for that also. And that also permits us to put in dashes or whatever we want when we format the phone number. So I'm going to go ahead and give that 15 characters, which should be long enough for most phone numbers and most punctuation that people might want to include. And then now I will add a field called last updated. And that field is going to be a date field. And I don't need to put a length in here, but the date field allows me to put in a date that will indicate when this record was last updated so I can see how up to date things are. Now there's one more thing I want to put in, and that is the person's birthday, so I can remember their birthday. So if I want to add one more character, I can, or one more column, I can add one more by, if you see up here, it says add one column. I can go and then it'll add it for me, which makes it really easy. And now I can add a birthday field, and that is also going to be a date. So we'll have two date fields, 4 variable character fields, and an ID field, which is an integer field. So now I've got all of this filled in. Obviously, there are a lot of settings here that we're not going to worry about today. But I also think I want birthday moved up right behind phone number. So I could use this to move that around. Right now, I'm just going to save this as it is, and we'll move on. So save that. And now I can see here that I've got, this is my table. If I click browse, I can see that my table is empty. There are no records. So I have the structure here, but no records. And now I'm ready to start building my script to put records into this. Now it's nice sometimes to take a screenshot of this. Now this is what you would submit for assignment 14, but also it's nice to take a screenshot just to have available to yourself when you're doing your script, so you don't have to come back to this screen too often. But that is how you set up a basic table.